Hold on tight for the next hour. You're entering into a place, a zone called the alternative to the alternative media. It's a place, a special place where even truth seekers fear to tread.
All right, people, let's move like we've got a purpose. Affirmative.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of red, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good, with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Okay, Greg Anthony here on this day after Thanksgiving. Yes, it was. I know everybody's stuffed with, oh my Lord, I can hardly say it. It was Black Thursday for me. And you know what I'm talking about. I was calling the alarm for all the turkeys early last week to get out of town. And if you're still alive, head out of the American borders. But anyway, you're probably wondering why I sang that song in the beginning. And the reason is that I spent my Thanksgiving, guess what? I didn't eat a turkey, but I did some time traveling, and everybody goes, oh no, here he goes again with the time traveling. And you know, I've noticed that ever since I started talking about time traveling, yes, listenership has gone down. People, don't be so serious in life. You know, let's have some fun with it. We're only here for a short time. But anyway, you'll still get the Christian message. Don't worry. Don't worry. I did a show on the Futurists and Jesuits, and don't worry, we're getting it there. But anyway, I've had some fun. You know, I revamped my go-kart and put on a new pair of gym shoes with some, the holes in it on the side with the tin foil. Got that charge, and I went all the way back to even before what has been reported as the first Thanksgiving dinner in America. They were quite astounded at my dress, and I was treated quite well by the natives. Yes, in fact, I traded a number of things. I brought some things to trade with them and brought some things back that are worth probably a lot of money. But I traded, I brought a scuba diving, with batteries, an old scuba diving camera that went outdated when GoPro started, if you know what GoPro is. And I used to carry a really big camera. And when GoPro started, these went out of date. I brought that, and I brought my Cubs baseball hat, an old baseball jersey with Mickey Mouse on it, which I had to explain who Mickey Mouse was. They didn't quite get it. And it's amazing. We communicated. I didn't understand their language from the Wampapooks or whatever they were. I can't think of their name right now, but very nice people. And I said, let's have what about this dinner that you had with the Pilgrims? He said, oh, no, we had one. We're going to have one in the coming days. And this happened to be a year before the first one was reported. So I said, this is going to be a breakthrough. This is going to be the greatest story ever. And they said, where are you from? I said, I'm from the United States. They said, oh, where is that? We got into a big discussion, and I told them that I came back from the year 2015. They had no idea what I was saying because they couldn't understand the years like that. So I guess I was just talking to myself, but it was quite fun. And so I wanted to report on my Thanksgiving dinner on exactly what we did. Now, let me tell you something. These people were rugged. They went out. I persuaded them, let's not kill any animals. And they understood because I did some drawings in the sand, and I put X's over, no killing animals. They said, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to eat vegetables. I said, well, what about, you know how to do that? Oh, they were great farmers. And I said, well, where are you going? They said, well, there's these Americans. That's what they were saying. They called them whiteface. They put some whiteface on, they painted themselves with name whiteface. We're going to see whiteface. So we took off. And in fact, remember I told you I can only spend 2 hours? Well, I really jacked up my machine, and I spent what amounted to like 3 or 4 days there, and I came back and I only lost 62 seconds. And that's amazing. So there are other dimensions. Yes. And so I thought you'd want to know what the first Thanksgiving dinner, prior to the first one reported, was really like. Now, you're probably wondering why these people were so friendly. They had no idea that there was a war or anything. They didn't believe in war. They believed in peace. I could see it all over their face. They were a little astonished by the way I looked and the clothes. They were very interested in my gym shoes because they'd never seen shoes like that. And I told them, yeah, they were Michael Jordan specials, and they had no idea who he was. And I said, I can't give them to you because if you see, there's holes cut out in them, and I stick in the wires into the tinfoil that gets me back to my home. Oh, and they said, ooh, how do you travel? I didn't want to get into it, but they said, by pony? By donkey? Do you walk? What do you do in the winter? Do you have dogs pull you? I guess they have dogs pulling them. And they were, it got winter where it was winter weather where we were at. I have no idea. I tried to get as close as I could to wherever I had it written down in my book, where I landed, close to where the supposed first Thanksgiving was. And I thought I'd partake in it, but I missed it by a year. And I thought, oh, God, here I go, made this whole trip for nothing. And I found out they were having one a year before the real one. So what was this like? You're probably wondering right now with bated breath, waiting to hear what the real first Thanksgiving dinner was like. And they didn't call it Thanksgiving. They didn't even know what I said Thanksgiving. They had no idea. Well, when I got to meet the white faces, then we started really talking. And that's what we're going to get into here, because we took a 3-day journey. 4-day journey. I don't know how many days. But I was starting to worry that my batteries would run out and I'd never get back. And I said to myself, why do I want to go back? What do I have there? I got my 2 puppies. They were enamored by these 2 dogs. I said, no eating dogs. And they don't eat dogs. No, they said, no. These dogs, and they were looking to the heavens going, these are the Creator's creatures, I think they were saying, and we love them. And they had these bigger dogs running around that were very friendly to my little puppies. I found that interesting. They didn't want to eat my little puppies. And my puppies found it a nice home there for a while. And in fact, I was wondering if they wanted to come back with me. But I was thinking, why do I want to go back? And let me tell you my thoughts on those 3 days before we get to the white faces. And those white faces, boy, they were very testy with me. Oh, boy. I can tell you. Let me give you a hint. They wanted to know where my Bible was. And I said, well, I didn't carry it with me. And they thought I was a Jesuit immediately. And oh boy, did they put me through the ringer. And I told them things about the Jesuits they didn't even know, but they believed me. Because I told them about, things that happened and, during the Protestant Reformation. And I said, I'm a Christian and I didn't bring my Bible. And they said, well, if you're a Christian, you should have your Bible with you. We are screening Jesuits, and we don't want any of them here in the new land. Because look what they did. I said, I know all the history, and I was astounded we had such great talks, but they were very skeptical of me. They patted me down for weapons. They thought I was an assassin. They said, I'm going to take over. If you're a Jesuit, you're going to infiltrate America. And I said, they already did. And they couldn't believe it, because I said, I didn't want to tell them I came from another time and place, because then they would have probably thought I was an alien and killed me or something. So I had to play it kind of cool. I just said I had visions from God that these things were going to happen. And they said, so did a lot of the reformers. I said, really? Did you meet any? And there's a couple that met a couple of them. Very interesting. I tell you, this time traveling is an interesting way to get a story. I should have thought of it years ago, and I'd have made a fortune. Now look at me. But anyway, here we are on those 3 days. And I'm traveling with these natives, beautiful people. Let me tell you, very, very nicely dressed in they made their own clothes. They made their own shoes. In fact, I traded my stuff. I'll tell you some of the other things I had to trade. But I traded my stuff for some really nice stuff. And at the end of the show, I'll tell you what they gave me. And I'll never forget it. It's going to be up in my mantle, up in my cave. I'm putting it in my house, never to be sold for a lot of money. Did you hear that guy? In the States, right before I left, there was a story I read. He had a Navajo blanket, and he sold it for $1.5 million. Wow, I got some stuff that dates back farther than that. I wonder what it's worth. Maybe I won't have to do this show anymore. Wouldn't that be good? That'd be very good for a lot of people out there, wouldn't it be? And I'm wondering, because I've got such dwindling numbers on my website, is somebody playing around with it? Because it's unusual. Unless people are so used to my Jesuit stories, they didn't remember years ago I used to do, things that were kind of offbeat, get away from the workaday world of screaming at the Jesuits and telling them to leave and all that kind of stuff, and talking about all these transgressions that they've done. So occasionally I used to do shows that were quite entertaining. And I used to get a lot of listeners. I don't know if something fishy's going on, but maybe they don't want anybody to know about this time-traveling machine I have, and they're on their way to get me, just like they did Nikola Tesla, and take all my patents that I don't even want to file, because they'll steal them anyway. So I'm not doing anything like that. But they've heard about this. Cat's got out of the bag. Greg's on his way back to the first Thanksgiving meal to really get the inside story. And I really did, boy, about the Jesuits. Did I get a story? And I'll hold you up, but on that 3 days I'm going, I better hope my batteries in my little go-kart here get me back home. Then I said, well, why do I really want to go home? And as we were walking in those 3 days, we passed the most beautiful animals that I never saw. All of these animals and all of these creatures, birds and things I'd never seen, and they were just gorgeous. And you know what? I'm going, why the heck didn't I bring my cell phone? And, I should have, because then I could have taken a picture. But I didn't bring it because I figured I needed my battery power for my go-kart. And secondly, nobody had cell phones there. I couldn't call anybody because there were no cell phones. Well, you see, here's the deal. They tell you they're satellite-based, but there's no satellites. There's no cell phone towers. It's all ground-based. So, believe it, there's a lot of guys that have done really, in fact, there was a story before I left. The guy that really researched no satellites in the sky was found dead. Yes, I don't know if they got him. They very well may have, and go check that story out, because he did some research verifying what I had learned from guess what? A DirecTV installer. Yeah. I said, how come you guys call yourself a satellite company when you get it off ground base? And he says, yeah, I get them off ground base all the time. I said, well, then you're misrepresenting yourself. He says, I don't care, I'm getting paid. I said, I don't blame you. But anyway, here we go. So I'm on this 3-day trip, and I see all these beautiful animals. Then we stop, and we have a nice little dinner that was all vegetarian based, very good, and smoked a little of their peace pipe, which was very good as well, and opened up some enlightening things. But we were camped by this beautiful river, and they drank right out of it, and so I did too. And then we took a swim, and it was incredible. And, I'm going, why do I want to go back to the pollution? Why do I want to go back to the hectic? There were no roads. The night was so filled with beautiful sounds. I didn't hear anybody, I didn't hear sirens. I didn't hear cars screaming, neighbors yelling, gunshots going off, nothing. It was very, very peaceful. And I'm going, maybe I should stay. And then I said, well, this isn't my home, and I'm sure they'd have let me stay, because we got along pretty well. I mean, for just getting to know each other, and I'm dressed the way I was. I didn't have any I was dressed in 2017, Levi's, kind of a cool shirt, brought my leather jacket in case it got cold. I didn't know when I was going to land. I had to be prepared. So anyway, through those 3 days, I had some really tough times wondering, maybe I should just stay here. To hell with it. What good is it going to be back there? I've overstayed my stay in my lifetime. I mean, nobody wants to hear about the Jesuits anymore. I can't get a job on a newspaper like I wanted to because I found out the truth about these stooges. And I've outlived my time. I can't even get a good job on a radio station that supports me, so I got to think of all these other things to do that I'm very ill prepared to do, because I can't really do anything else. But I've tried, and that's why they only last a little while, because I'm not really good. I mean, if somebody asked me to be a carpenter, I'd probably die. I couldn't build anything. So I was kind of stuck. So I said, well, maybe if I stayed there, they could find something for me to do. They don't need a journalist. They don't need painters or artists. They don't need actors. They don't need big talkers like me. They could probably teach me something, how to make all those beautiful necklaces they have and, all that kind of stuff. I could learn. Or maybe they teach me how to farm. I never did learn to farm because I was so young. I learned how to milk a cow. I didn't see any cows. Saw some goats, very good-looking goats. And let me tell you something. So I'm thinking, maybe I could learn a craft here, be useful to society. Because what is my use in society now? I spiel out some things about the Jesuits. If I don't say the right thing, people turn me off. Even the Christians won't listen to me if I decide I want to embark on a story that, delves away, goes a little bit away from the Bible. I can't talk about it every day. You guys read it every day. I read some. But, we can talk about other things, but I lose listenership. So maybe I've outlasted my stay, I'm thinking, in America. I don't need to do this anymore here. They could teach me how to really be a human being, maybe. Yeah. Teach me the things I never learned. Maybe I could even learn their language. I'm not great at languages. It takes me a long time. I learned Italian, but it took a long time, and I'm trying to learn. I tried to learn Spanish in my short stay in a country that spoke that language. Can't reveal my locations anymore. It's getting too hot under the collar, so to speak. Because boy, the Jesuits now are just rolling over everybody, and they don't want to hear any of this. And they'll make. So I'm going. Maybe I'm better off back there. I could learn a lot. Even, maybe I could stay with the natives. Remember that movie, what was it? A Man Called Horse? I could do that, but I'm not hanging the way he did in that movie, if you know what I mean, to prove his manhood. I'm not doing that. So I inquired about how, and we were drawing in the sand so we could understand each other. And I was picking up some languages. I taught him to say, hello, I am a good man. Love me. I taught him that. They could say it. It was kind of fun. One guy had a really pretty good accent. I said, you could be a great radio broadcaster. And he didn't know what the hell I was saying. But anyway, we were singing at night. Yeah, they had these instruments they played. And I didn't see a guitar, so I couldn't strum along with them. And so I sang the song I sang at the beginning of the show, oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves. They liked it. And they were all moving around, and we were having a great time by the old fire. And I'm thinking, again, wow, this is only my first night here. And I want to stay. I could learn to be something. They could teach me a new language. But then again, I could never go back to tell anybody. I could never get the batteries going. Here, how would I do that? They don't know that. I don't know that. I couldn't build a battery. I know that the white faces that I'm going to meet, they wouldn't know, so I'm stuck. So I said, well, maybe it's just, let me dream. So I kept dreaming. I had a beautiful dream that night. Boy, it was so beautiful. I was on a canoe, and I'm going down this beautiful river, and I could see all of these swans and ducks and all of these fowl. And there were some turkeys, I guess, because of my turkey story. They had to be in my dream, and they were all thanking me. And as I rode down the little island, rode down that river, and then there was a little island full of turkeys and geese and all these fowl. They invited me there, and they thanked me for saving 5,645 was the number I told them, because that's the number I found out that I had saved from the Black Thursday yesterday dinner in America. Pretty good, huh? 5,600 and 74 turkeys I saved. Those are lives that are valuable. I remember what Abe Lincoln's son said, if we deserve to live, so do they. So Abe said, okay, we're not killing the turkey. And the turkey lived a happy life. Well, Trump, he did pardon 2 turkeys this year. What was it? Wishbone and something else. Wishbone and something. 2 turkeys, and not enough. We just got to pardon them all next year. No turkey dinners if I get back. Well, I'm back. So I'm back, so it's no big deal. But I was really thinking, man, I want to stay. And the next day, we got up so bright and early. No coffee, though. Oh, boy, did I have a headache. When you go without coffee, if you drink it every day, you get a headache. I got a headache. And they put so I told them, they put some salve on my temples. And man, I was cured in a minute. They got some sap off a tree or something. So then I said, well, wow, maybe they could teach me all of these. If I I only can stay up to 4 days. That's my battery power that I charged up. When I did my renovations. I said, maybe I could learn all of these medicinal things they do and go back and cure cancer. Maybe I could be useful in my society. Instead of just, bumping my gums every day. So I'm thinking, maybe I can do that. Maybe I can figure out something. They had the unusual vegetables. I was thinking, how can I get some back? I did bring back one very large apple. Oh, God, it looked like a watermelon. That's about all I could fit in the go-kart. And I've got it here. Nobody believes me. It's the biggest apple. It's bigger than the Big Apple. We're talking about New York. Yeah. It's the biggest apple. So I got the biggest apple, New York, and I brought it back from the first Thanksgiving meal that I was just about to get to, and we'll get to that in the second half hour. But we're back here in 2017, November, 24th? Yeah, 24th. I lose track of time when I go back and forth like this. And you're probably saying, it's impossibile for you to do that. And I said, remember what I've always told you people. And when we discuss how people believe in these how they believe in these crazy religions and all of these things. And I say, if you believe it, it's true, isn't it? Yeah. If you believe it, it's true. So how can people out there believe in all these crazy things like 20-foot tall aliens and reptilians and all these things, and then doubt what I'm telling you? Doesn't make sense to me. Well, I don't really care, because it doesn't matter to me, because if you believe it, it's true. And it happened. It couldn't have been a dream. I know that, because I had a dream while I was there. So I can't double dream, can you? Can you do that? No. See? So take it for what it's worth. You're listening to the Investigative Journal, one of my more entertaining shows. Hopefully you didn't get too stuffed on Thanksgiving Day, and don't tell me you ate turkey. I don't want to hear about it. And we're going to try to make it against the law next year. So back in 3 minutes on the Investigative Journal.
The program you are listening to is 100% sponsored by you, the listener, on this First Amendment Rights Media channel. You will notice that there are few commercials on this radio network. There's a good reason for that. Corporate advertising dollars come with strings that limit program content. So without your help, these programs cannot continue on internet or our several affiliates. If you benefit by the educational law programs, we ask you to give. If you are admonished or nurtured by the Bible and ministry programs, we ask you to give. If some voice a cause that you are passionate about, we ask you to give. If you believe in any of these, we ask you to support them as you would a missionary on a continual basis, as if giving a tithe for missionary radio. These programs are not commercially viable and must be supported by those faithful to the cause of truth. Look for the button to sponsor your favorite programs at our listen and schedule pages on the internet. Then, when you subscribe, we will send you the last quarterly MP3 CD of that program immediately, and continue to do so with each new quarter. We will also give you unlimited archive access to all of our programs. We're asking you to give much less than a tithe, so that you may also send support directly to a particular program host, cause, and anywhere else the Spirit may lead you. Do all to the glory of our God and Creator, for His holy nation, the only kingdom that will last forever. Thank you for listening.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn, the Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the Scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The following program is labeled dangerous and off limits by the supreme Jesuit command. But stand tall, people. Listen up, and you may just learn something.
Oh, dear Lord Jesus, this ain't happening, man. This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Okay, we are back on the Investigative Journal. Time traveling again. Boy, it takes, we went back to what was now to be known in American history, the real first Thanksgiving dinner. They didn't even call it that, but I'm even predating what's in the history books, and boy, did I get a story from the Whitefaces. That's what the natives called them. They were very nice people, as I told you in the first half of the show. So we're going to finish it up here in the second half because I got a lot to talk about, and primarily about when I get to the camp where they were going to eat and celebrate living together. Got a big story about what they really, the Whitefaces and the people that first came over, really thought about the Jesuits. And I had to pry it out of them. It wasn't that hard because they knew more about it than I did. You know, and it's amazing because people now here in the land where I live now don't know anything. You know, so I'm thinking, who's smarter? You know, we got all these people going to these Protestant churches, and actually we might as well just go and walk into the Vatican and walk into one of their confessionals and go, "Bless me, Father, I've sinned." It's the same thing. But anyway, hey, time traveling isn't easy. I don't know if you've ever done it, but you think jet lag is bad? Try this. Going back 400 years. It takes a toll on your body, but thank God I have good health. And that's one of the things that, I hope that people during Thanksgiving really thought about, because without health, you got nothing. And boy, these people were healthy looking. I'm telling you. And as we were walking, it's now the third day, and I'm still thinking, God, maybe I should just stay. The beautiful trees, the mountains, the sky looks so clear. The stars at night were like dropping right on top of you, and you could like grab one and put it under your covers with you. That's how the sky looked. There were no chemtrails, by the way. Didn't hear any airplanes. They didn't even know what it was. The only thing flying was a bird. And boy, the beautiful peacocks and swans. I never, in fact, there's some species that, I tell you, I wish I could have brought them all back, but I had no room. I got to think of, maybe I can create go there with like a big machine that's like a big 747 or something, and bring them all back like Noah did, on an ark, but bring them in a flying machine. Wouldn't that be something? Be a whole new way of looking at things. There was Noah and the flood, and then there was the big 747 who brought all the animals back so they could repopulate after many of the species of the world are being killed off as we speak. And hopefully not. They'll never kill off the turkeys because they want to eat them every year, so they just don't, it's just not natural. So the turkeys, we left off that one night. I was in my dream, the first night, they held a big ceremony for me on an island for all I did. And I did say 5,660 or 70 turkeys. They split America. Yeah, I got them fake passports, the whole shot. Got them out. And that's my good deed for the year, Well, I think I can think of one more. Maybe I'll think of something. But over the years, I've never, to be honest with you, until recently, I've never been one of those kind of humanitarian kind of people. I was always kind of to myself. I enjoy people, but I just only like to be with them for a few minutes. If you know what I mean. Not all people, most. But can you imagine? Wow. Imagine, I asked them, there were no tattoos. I found that interesting. People now, you go out, you see these people, there's some rock star. They got tattooed their whole body. They got rings coming out of their nose and ears and everywhere. And these people, they put a little paint on, that was for a ceremony, but nothing, they were very, very, they didn't put on, they didn't, put rings in their nose or anything. Very nice hair, very black, silky hair. And I was thinking, what kind of shampoo do they use? Think the things I think of, I'm there time traveling with these beautiful people, and all I can think about is what kind of shampoo do they use? So on the third morning, I found out, holy cow, there's some tree they go to, and I watched one of they took a shower, bath in the beautiful lake, and I said, okay, I'm going to take a bath too, but I pointed to my head, and I go, what, washy. And they went to this tree, and they had all this sap, and they put it together with something else from the ground. And I go, oh my God, I'm not going to, and they put it in my hand, and I started rubbing it all over my face. Oh, it felt good. Put it in my hair, and guess what? When I dried myself off, I didn't have a mirror, so I looked in the lake, which was like a mirror, and my hair was so nice. It's not frizzy like it always is here. And I'm thinking, maybe, oh boy, God, I got to go back there. Because can you imagine if I can get a 747 or something to get back there, bring back all that stuff? I could create a new shampoo, make millions. God, isn't it crazy, though? That's the way we think nowadays, isn't it? And it's so sad. These people, they didn't think, when they used that shampoo, they weren't thinking about mass producing it for the other natives and then collecting millions. One native would be a millionaire, the other would be poor, living in a little hut, and the other one making the other natives build everything for him, and he would be sitting there like King Tut or Trump in his tower, or Obama, or all these people, all these elites we know who abused the middle class and the little people. They didn't even think like that. And I'm thinking, God, isn't that refreshing? To be with people that aren't constantly thinking on how to screw you over, or make money off of you, or use you. And isn't that really what it's all about here? And what's going to happen in America, I'm thinking. And now I'm thinking, well, we're going to meet the white faces. And I can't tell them I'm a time traveler. So I asked the Indians, I said, these clothes they would freak out. So a couple people, they packed a little bit too much. So I found one native that was about my size. So he let me wear some of his clothes. Because I said mine were getting dirty, and they were really nice about it. They said, we can wash it when you get back, they pointed to the lake, and they moving their hands like they're going to scrub and scrub. So I look now, I'm blonde a little, I was blonde. I still think I am in my mind, but it's going kind of silver. I looked in the mirror the other day. It's getting a little silver. And I'm going, oh no, why can't it be white? I always wanted to have that distinguished white hair, but silver hair? And I'm going to call me the silver fox, Somebody's already been called that. I guess I could be called. I'm going, oh no, am I going to have to dye my hair white? I always wanted white hair, nice white beard. Well, anyway, so now I've got the Indian garb on, and I packed away my stuff so they didn't see it, And I said, don't lose these shoes. I was talking, I named one guy Rodrigo, because he gave me his name, and it sounded like Rodrigo. So Rodrigo was holding my clothes, and he promised he wouldn't lose them. And I said, I lose those shoes, you're stuck with me forever. He didn't know what I was saying. So anyway, here we go. We wake up that last morning, and now we're only a few miles away from the supposed whiteface camp. And I'm getting a little nervous, because these people are going to really grill me over. So here we come into the camp, and everybody was happy, greeting everybody, doing all these things. And I told my friend Rodrigo, make sure you hide the gifts I gave you, because these people are really going to think I'm an alien. If they see that camera, that you can go, when you go, I'm really gave them something I'm going to show them how to use it before I leave. Because they're going to jump in the lake, go down there and take pictures, and then they're going to show they're going to be way ahead of their time. So I said, hide that, because I don't want to have to explain what it is to these guys. They'll think I'm a sorcerer or something, burn me at the stake. You know how some of those Christians were back then. If they saw that I wasn't even going to bring out a light. I don't smoke, so I didn't have a lighter. That might have did me in. What else? Oh, God. Luckily, I didn't have a cell phone, anything. I just hid everything that could get me burnt as the stake as a witch or a warlock with Rodrigo, who promised he wouldn't show anybody. He was a good guy. I'm going to miss him. Really am. And here we go. So we're walking into the camp, and everybody's happy. They're all smiling. And the people there had these muskets, and they looked kind of weary. They didn't look as healthy as the natives. They've been through a hell. This was new country for them. And in fact, the natives have been teaching them how to do things, to live in America. And you'd think we'd have paid back these natives in the end with everything. But what did we do? We genocided them, just like we do with the turkeys. I think it's something in Western civilization, conquer. And the Jesuits are divide and conquer. So as we walked in, let me tell you the first few reactions I got. I'm looking in the crowd now, and they're looking in I could see the women and the little children pointing. Who's he? He looks different. They're saying, I can understand them. They had, of course, an English accent. And I wave and I go, oh, I'm Elton John. They don't know who that is. I said, no, I'm the Beatles. I started really joking with them because they don't know what the hell. I'm, smiling. He smiled, looked happy. And they were very curious. And so they went to the chief, I guess, and they were having a little combo, a little talk about me. And I guess they were saying, where'd you get him? They communicated that I just showed up. So, boy, the head man came over. I didn't know his name. His name was, what was it? Charles Anguson or something, the second. He was the head of the colony there. And I'm mad, they built some nice little homes. I saw they had little gardens. They brought picket fences. They built them off the trees like they did in England. So they made it look like jolly good England a little bit. I felt kind of at home. No TVs. In fact, I said, do you have a television? They didn't know what the hell I said. They thought, what is that? Oh, I said, it's just a funny joke from where I come from. They said, where do you come from? And I said, Eastern Europe. Because I looked Polish, so I figured I better not say I'm from Boston or something. They don't even know what Boston. I better not say I'm from Illinois, Chicago. They go, what? That's not even here yet. So I told them I was from Eastern Europe, and I ended up here on a sailing ship. I told them a story, and the ship was sailing, and it sunk. Many people were killed. And I was on a raft with another guy, and I floated here. And now I don't know why, and I met these Indians. I talked like that to them. I didn't say natives. So I said, yeah, and they said they're coming to have dinner with. I said Thanksgiving dinner. They go, what's that? I go, well, nothing. I did dinner. I couldn't understand what they were saying. And they said, you're celebrating your happiness with them. And they said, yes, they've been very nice to us. And I'm thinking, boy, if I could tell him what happened to these people, they would really be terrible. Well, the conversation started out nice, but then it got nasty. When they started asking me where my Bible was. And I said, well, how can I carry a Bible when I was shipwrecked? It's somewhere in the bottom of the ocean. They didn't buy that one bit. So I said, well, why are you so doing this? And they said, well, we're going to interrogate you. Come with me. So they got me in this room, put me in a chair, and all these guys with these funny big hats, they had their muskets and all this stuff were surrounding me, asking me all these questions. And I said, well, what are you so worried about? And they said, we do not want to have one Jesuit or Catholic here. And if you're not carrying a Bible, it signifies perhaps you're with the enemy. And I said, well, I had to play dumb. I said, yes, I know. I've heard about, even from my part of the world, what they did to all these countries. What they were going, and I was thinking, well, they hadn't yet had the American Revolution or the French Revolution, so I better not get it. But I said, yes, I've heard about what they did with the Protestant reformers in England and all of this stuff, and even the, how they tried to blow up a parliament, everything. I can understand why you don't want them here. No, we do not want them here. They'll never be in America. And I'm thinking, oh my God, if I ever told them really what happened, it would take the wind out of their sails. I can't tell them. It would ruin them. And then they'd think I was a heretic. Or they'd think I was one of them, the Jesuits. Yes. Because they would think, well, how can he tell the future? He must be one of them. And they'd kill me. Or banish me. And how long would I survive there? I gotta get back with these natives to get back to my little go-kart. I'll never find my way back. So I gotta play it cool. So I asked them, I said, after they kind of agreed, and then we started sharing a little wine, and it'd been 4 days since I had a glass of wine, and I have never gone 4 days, I think, since I ended up in Italy without a glass of wine, at least a glass of wine. People that know me will attest to that. So it was hard. Okay, let me taste that. Good. Ooh. I said, this is another reason I might stay. So anyway, after they kind of understood that I was not an enemy, I started asking them, I said, why is there's such hatred? I mean, I understand the Jesuits did that, but it's a free land. And they said, no, it's not free when they're here. Look what they did to our country. Look what and if we let them in here, they're going to do the same exact thing. They're going to ruin it. Look at the beautiful land. And these people were very, I said, do you eat turkeys? I was self-interest. They go, no, they're beautiful. We don't eat them. No, we don't. Did you realize that? They don't eat turkeys. I said, I can like these people. And I said, well, what do you eat? And he said, well, you know something? We have to save our bullets and our gunpowder, so we've decided to eat vegetables. I said, it's good for you. Yes. And I almost slipped and said, Americans now don't. Ooh, I went, ooh. I said, oh, nothing. I'm just thinking, if you don't eat vegetables and fruit, boy, you could really get sick. I said, you guys look pretty healthy. I said, it's been tough. And they said, the first winter here was so tough. And these natives and Rodrigo over there, and I said, oh, boy, don't look in his bag. He helped us a lot. And they taught us, some medicinal we didn't have much medical care, and their medicine man helped us, and we've cured a number of things. They've been really good friends, and we decided that we should celebrate together. And I said, then I was going to say, do you realize, but I couldn't, that you're going to start a tradition that's going to go on forever and ever and ever? They did. I couldn't tell. I said, yes, good. And I said, when you guys get together, what are you going to eat? And they said, well, we've got all these vegetables, all this beautiful fruit. We've made bread. Oh, I could smell it. Wholesome bread. And I'm thinking, have they figured out pasta yet? I could go for a plate of pasta. But they haven't, And by the way, I'm going to give you a little quiz. Who do you think invented pasta? Oh, you're going to say Italians. No, it was the Chinese. Okay. So here we are. I asked them some really serious questions about the Jesuits. And man, they were so well informed. And they said, do you read the Bible? And I said, of course I do. And boy, I said, and they said, well, we're having a Bible study tonight, and we're bringing over some of the, natives to sit with us. Then we're going to dance and celebrate their way as well. And we're all going to sit. You want to come? I said, sure, I'd love to. And they went over. Guess what? I was lucky. I said, well, what are you going to be studying? It's a big book. They said, we're going to go over the book of Revelations. I said, I hit the jackpot. The book of Revelations from 1,600 pilgrims while the natives listen. And then we're going to go smoke a peace pipe and dance. I mean, what more could you want? I said, I'm staying. Then I thought, I can't. I don't know. And my two little dogs were, I almost didn't get them back. And they were like, please let me stay. The food here's too good. These people are so nice. The dogs around where we live chase us all the time. Here, they're nice to me. I go, come on, you gotta go. So anyway, the book of Revelations. And I'm going, oh my God, this is going to be great. And so we're listening. And the pastor, the head guy, we were right there. Someone said, Pastor, explain to us who's the Antichrist. And basically they went right to the heart of the beast, Rome. They explained it all so vividly, just even better than I've heard it today. And I said, thank the Lord. The truth is out. These people know. Maybe the Jesuits will never get in. And guess what? I then sunk my head, said a silent prayer. I said, Dear Lord, look at these people. They're telling the truth. What happened? How did they get in here and ruin this country? Please explain it to me. I'm going back just to know, because I want to help my people understand. But give me more insight as I'm running out of things. I've done it for 15 years, 20 years, and I can't seem to make any headway anymore. Please, dear Lord, help me stay with it. I've gotten filled with so much doubt now. I don't even want to go back to the United States. I don't even want to go back to 2017, which will be pretty soon 2018. I don't even want to do the radio show anymore. I'm getting nobody listening. It goes down and down and down. What can I do? Please give me some inspiration. And as they went on, it was incredible how they pinpointed the Antichrist being the Vatican system and talking in terms of, wow, they were, they just had it all together, put it that way. And it was the most refreshing Bible study I've ever been to. And I thanked them afterwards. We had a nice glass of wine. Thank God for that. And then we went over, and hand in hand, now they've accepted me, right? And I'm talking to Charles, and I go, Charles, tell me. And he said, it's been very difficult. We've lost so many people, but these natives have helped. And, we've had a number of new births, and sickness has been low, and we're just loving this beautiful country. It looks so beautiful. I said, where do you get your water? Oh, right out of the stream there. It's so clear and nice. And I said, man, what a beautiful country. I'm so lucky to be born here, to visit here, being born in Poland, and then now to visit this beautiful country. I just can't wait to really. And they said, well, where are you going to go? I said, well, I'd love to stay, and perhaps I'll come back, but I left some things with the natives, and I must move on a little bit north, because I've heard some friends of mine may have been saved from the boat that collapsed, and I have to go find them because they were very dear friends. So I will be back. I'm going to mark the territory. And they said, oh, don't go marking. The animals do that. I go, I didn't mean it that way. So I said to them, don't worry, I'll be back. And as it went on from that point, we had the most beautiful vegetarian meal. In fact, there were a bunch of turkeys in the background just coming, and they were feeding them some vegetables, and they weren't putting them on the table. So that was really how it happened. And that was the first one. People that you've never heard of. Charles, Matilda was there. Oh, Irving. I remember these people are not in the history books. Then we had Rodrigo and his group. And by the way, right after that Bible study, before we sat down the next day to eat, beautiful dancing party. I mean, you couldn't ask for better. It wasn't sexual depravity like in Hollywood and stuff like that. Very, very nice, clean, wholesome fun. The fiddle came out. Some other instruments. The natives played their stuff, danced, and boy, we had a great time. And I'm happy to report to you that I first came to sit at the real first Thanksgiving. See you Monday on the Investigative Journal.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.